Hey, good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution, episode 1170. Happy hump day. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. I'm a little tired this morning. I'm a little tired. I ended up mowing. Oh boy. I ended up mowing yesterday. And so here's the problem I have with mowing. I enjoy, especially now that I'm cooped up in the basement all day, shipping and listing, listing and shipping, sorting and shipping and listing and sorting. I like to get outside, do a little, especially, I mean, especially after a long winter, no matter, it wasn't that long of a winter this year, but winter nonetheless. It's nice. The birds are chirping. The sun is out. It's warm. I like to get out, do a little yard work. However, in April, we get April showers, which bring May flowers. Hey, happy May. It's May Day. It is May Day, May 1st, leading into some of the worst days of the year, May 4th and May 5th, for you Star Wars nerds. So here we are, May 1st. Happy hump day. So the problem with my yard work is I'm a fair weather yard work guy. Like, I don't want to go out and mow when it's like cloudy and 60. I want to soak up the sun. So I tend to, if it's 60 and cloudy, it's like, I'll do it tomorrow. Maybe the sun will be out. Well, then what happens is it rains and the grass grows. We have steroid grass. I don't know what the hell type of grass they planted when we did the yard last year, but it fucking grows like a weed. And I know that we have steroid grass because the backyard, like half of the backyard is old grass. And I didn't have to mow. Like it was like a refreshing mow because when I hit that spot, and I could have gone another few days with the old grass. So my wife was going to put in a call to the landscape company to come in, and because I'm like, if it rained, like the push mower is already, it's not strong enough to get through this tall grass. So because my wife's like, I'm gonna get a price for an annual for them to do our yard. And I'm like, whoa. Let's pump the brakes here. I kind of like it. It makes me feel like a man when I mow. I don't change my own oil. You've got to give me this. I've got to mow my own yard. So we're going to have them come out and just do a one-time thing this week. So I'm outside in the morning. In our front yard is, like at the old house, like the front yard didn't hardly grow, but the backyard would. So here it's like the reverse. Like the front yard has all the steroid grasses in the front and then some in the back. Well, as I learned yesterday, a lot in the back. So I decided yesterday morning, I'm here. I think I was listing a batch to my eBay store. Let's get that scrolling at the bottom of the screen. 99centcards.com. 7 or more at regular price, and you'll save 25% off at checkout. I did add some colors, some first chrome, some Bowman, Jeter rookie, Shohei, Trey Turner refractor, Acuna. So check out my eBay store. Link in the description. So I'm in the front yard. I'm like, I'm gonna mow the front, and then Olsen Tune can do the rest whenever they get here. But like, I don't know if they can't get us on the schedule until like next week or Friday or, several days out, like people are going to complain about our freaking tall grass. So I decided I'm going to mow the front. So I go out, I mow the front. I'm like I do one strip and I'd have to unclog because it's still wet. I mean, even if it dried out, like at the base of your grass, it's still going to be wet if it's so tall. Unless we're in like a drought. It's rained a lot here. So like every strip, and then it like pukes out a bunch of grass. Jesus Christ. So it filled, and let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. And I did find out my wife knows a lot of things, including how big our lot is, or how small our lot is, depending on your perspective. To me, it's how large it is because it's twice as big as our previous lot. It is a half acre. I thought it was a third of an acre. My wife's like, no, it's a half acre. I'm like, so it's twice as big because we had a quarter acre at our old place. I'm like, shit, and she's like, yeah, it took you all day to mow. And I'm like, yeah, it did. Yeah, it did. However, yesterday was an anomaly. Normally, that's good advice by James. I ended up having to do that. So I still had it on the regular, the deck thing on the lowest, or not the lowest, but like normal. And I don't know. Frank would always, I miss Frank, neighbor Frank. Actually, in this instance, I don't miss him because he would have been, looks like you need to mow your yard. I don't need that in my life. So Frank would be like, how you have it set for a half inch or an inch? And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck that means. So I did have to raise, once I got into the backyard, I did raise the deck, which didn't help. I would have had to raise it like all the way to the top, and then I would have had to mow 3 times. So normally in this house, I fill 3 like industrial, like those big black garbage bags. So, and I don't know if they're yard waste bags or not, but they're huge. They're heavy too when you fill them up with grass. So I fill 3 of those up. I filled 3 of those up in just the front yard yesterday. Do you know how many of those large black bags I filled? Remember, normally it's 3. Mowed the front, 3 in the front. Took those to the land waste. Fortunately, they're open late on Tuesdays. Took those over to the dump around lunchtime. Came back. Beautiful day. Beautiful day. It was like 75 and sunny. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna suck it up. I'm gonna mow the entire yard. I'm just gonna take the rest of the afternoon and mow the rest of the yard. 13 bags. 13 full bags. That's 4 times. Is that right? Yeah. That's more than 4 times the grass that I normally have on a normal average mow. 3 full bags, 13. So fortunately, I took 3 bags. I did the front, and I'm like, because I wasn't planning on doing the backyard. So I did the front, took the bags, came back, did some shipping. Then I ran to the post office. What else did I do? I thought I ran a few different errands. Oh, I ran to the post office. I ran to the dump and then the post office. Came back, shipping. And then I'm like, you know what? It's a beautiful day. I'm going to go mow the rest. 13 bags. So I had 10 in the backyard. And it was starting. I don't think we got any rain, but there was some forecasted rain. And it was clouding up towards the end of my mow last night. So I had 10 bags the second time, and I could barely fit them all. It was like stuff. Like I'm pretty good. Like a Ford Edge is a smaller SUV. It's like a mid-size, I think, SUV. But man, you can stuff 20 card show tables in there. Can't see out of your mirrors, but you can do it. And I might have been able to squeeze an 11th bag, maybe, but I squeezed 10 bags. The bag. It looked like I looked like Dexter, except it was green and not red, grass, not blood. So 13 bags, and it was one of those, like at the end, I'm like, I'm sore, like I'm carrying all these heavy grass bags. like I'm used to carrying 4-row boxes. Like I'm not using those muscles, so I'm sore. I got to take a shower because I'm like green, like there's just grass caked up my arms because I had to stick my hand and arm into the lawnmower chute thing to unclog it with all the grass, the wet grass that's clogged up. Kind of like, have you ever seen the videos of how you like artificially inseminate like a cow? You stick your whole arm up its, and that's what I had to do with the lawnmower. So I get home and I'm like, I got to shower. And you know what's refreshing after a mow? And I'm really disappointed in Twitter. I am highly disappointed in some of you not knowing what a shower beer is. Somebody said, you might be an alcoholic if. Other people were just amazed at a shower beer. Let me tell you something. A shower beer. It's not like I wake up in the morning, brush my teeth, and have a beer in the shower. It's a post-mow shower beer. I feel like there needs to be an education on shower beers. Did we not pass this along to the next generation? Are they unaware of the magic that is the shower beer? You know, back in I think shower beers hit different though. Like 41-year-old, almost 42-year-old Bo is having a shower beer in a much different fashion than he did 20 years ago. 20 years ago, a shower beer was like you're taking a shower at 7, 8 o'clock at night. You're getting ready to hit the change of pace in Macomb. You've got your Michael Jordan cologne. Shower beer is a pregame for hitting the bars. At 42, a shower beer is like, my God, I just spent the entire day mowing my fucking yard. I'm tired and sore. I need a beer and a shower. Hence the shower beer. So hopefully nobody thinks I'm waking up in the morning and drinking beer in the shower. I did take another shower this morning, though. I am the type of person. I took like a deep clean shower last night after the mow because you're like scrubbing. You're scrubbing. Not that I don't scrub every day in the shower, but when you're sitting around listing and shipping in your basement, you don't really work up a sweat. And I still haven't used the little home gym we have, the mini gym we have. So, but I have to take a shower in the morning just to wake up. So I took a shower, but I didn't have to scrub down this morning. Not what you wanted to picture, me scrubbing down in the shower. So shower beer, it hit. So that was the adventures of my backyard. We're going to talk about Topps Heritage Mini today. I'm confused. I'm less confused this morning than I was last night. It seems like there was some miscommunication and people just don't know how the hell to get Topps Heritage Mini. Well, we kind of know, but we don't. There was one other thing that I wanted to talk about, and now I can't remember. It must not have been important. We hit the shower beer. We hit the lawn mowing. So now I have to do this in phases. So I still have to trim. I didn't even trim. So I have to trim. I need to weed my garden beds. We're still a few weeks away before I can plant my veggies. I wait until the week after Mother's Day. Mother's Day weekend is going to be big. I'll be at the card show in Loves Park, Premier Card Shows Indoor Sports Center, Saturday, May 11th, which is Mother's Day weekend. Which kind of is perfect. So I'll head down to Rockford. Loves Park, by the way, is just next to Rockford. So I'll do the card show Saturday, and then I'll drive down to Anawan, which, by the way, I'm sporting the Anawan shirt today. So I'll drive down to Anawan after the show card show on Saturday, May 11th, and celebrate Mother's Day with my mother in a couple weeks. And then the following weekend, I think I'll have that reserved for, is that correct? Yes, that's May 18th would be the Saturday. So I don't have a card show. So I will hopefully use that weekend to plant my veggies, my vegetable garden. So, but it's very weedy back there. I've got some weeds popping up in some of the flower beds. And I also want to, and maybe I'll just wait until I go out and about buying my veggies. I want to get another bird feeder, and I want to get like a bird feeder to get like different kinds of birds. So that's what I had. All right, let's go to the chat. We've got Victor. I think he was the first to say hello. Good morning, Victor, which, by the way, Victor got the mushroom coffee, said it's delicious, which I still have not tried. Though, now that I've got Victor's seal of approval, I'm more motivated to try the mushroom coffee. I'm just having the last of the grinded coffee beans. So I was under the impression you only drink like 1 cup. But what if you drink, like I drink like almost a pot of coffee every morning, which is probably not good for me. That's why I wanted to get the mushroom coffee. I'm drinking too much coffee. Maybe if I drink the mushroom coffee, I don't need to drink a pot of coffee. So we'll see. Philly Joe, good morning. David's in the house. What's happening? Good morning. Brian, what's going on? Mr. Archer is here. Good morning. George in the house. What's happening? Brian Wolf says, your post upset me last night. The dude with the one of ones, will it ever not be an issue? So it's not an issue. At least now that there's been some explanation from others, it's not an issue. It's just, it was more miscommunication by Topps, but it's not a Topps issue. It's not a, so we'll get into it. We'll get into the Topps Heritage Mini and the tweets and all that. By the way, you can get Topps Heritage. It's on sale now. Go to Fanatic. It's not on Topps.com yet. Apparently that's coming today, but you can buy the Topps Heritage Mini boxes at Fanatics.com. JW, good morning. Shane's in the house. Good morning. Max is here. He says, that's the best time to mow. Do you not sweat in the sun? I absolutely sweat in the sun. I was sweating. Well, it was sunny yesterday. There's Rookie, the neighbor dog. I did sweat yesterday, though. It was annoying. By the end, because usually I wear a hat so the sweat doesn't get into my eyes. I wasn't wearing a hat in the morning. I'm like, in sweats, and I'm like, I'm walking around like, you can't see. Sweat in my eyes. Shane says, had an interesting couple days on eBay. Sales have been a little slow lately. Then all of a sudden on Monday, I got a 28 card order. Then yesterday, 11 and 13 card order along with some singles. Isn't it strange how this goes? I don't think we'll ever solve the problem, although it's one of those things that I do want to do a video, how I solved the algorithm. And I just want it's been a little over a month. It's been 5 weeks, and I'm still seeing consistent. Wait a second. Okay. I just wanted to make sure. Okay. So yeah, I'm still seeing consistent volume and sales. My weekend, I had a great weekend in sales. Friday through Sunday were off the charts, really good. Monday was much slower, but it was still kind of close to my target, and then beat my target yesterday. We'll see what today brings. But it's really strange, and I've noticed like back when I had less volume listed, it's like I'd have 2 weeks, and I think some of it has to do with just based on when your items end. And I don't know how many items you have in your store, Shane, or if you have a store, but I feel like it's more noticeable the less items you have. Say you have 1,000 items in your store, you're going to notice those, when you list, say I only list on Mondays, but remember it's a 30-day clock. So if just because you start on a Monday, just based on how the calendar rolls, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to end the 30-day cycle on a Monday. And I think how does the calendar work? Depends on the month, I guess. But it might be like it might be a 2. If you list on a Monday, it'll end on a 2. I don't know how. I can't remember how it works. But if all of a sudden, if say you listed 500 of those, 1,000 on the same day, the 30-day cycle is going to end, and you'll likely see more action at the end of that 30-day cycle when people are searching newly listed or ending soonest. So I think that has a lot to do with some of those ebbs and flows. Like, hey, all of a sudden, let's in my store today, ending today, because there's and let's get into this. Ending today. So I have 1,680 items ending today, and I don't know if that seems a little higher than normal. I feel like 1,200, 1,000 to 1,200 is typically. So maybe we'll have a higher day. But I need to track that. I haven't tracked. That's not something that I've tracked, but maybe in the morning I'll see how many do I have ending today, and just see if there's a correlation between items ending and a bump in sales. And it probably won't be a significant bump, but sometimes it might be, depending on, if today you have only 300 items ending and 1,680 the next day, maybe there is a more significant bump. Also, speaking of, I'm in the Seller Hub, which the Seller Hub, if you have a store, you have a Seller Hub. It's under My eBay and Selling. Now, this is what I work out of this Seller Hub. It's called the Seller Hub. It's eBay Seller Hub. That's what it's called. There was a question in the Hobby Evolution Facebook group. If you're not in it, there's great conversation, questions, answers, debates, good stuff. Join the Hobby Evolution Facebook group. And if you do, I kind of want to have a little more, so we don't get scammers like McClown last week. Hit me up and say, hey, this is, or John Keating, that 70s Card Show. Say, hey, I'm legit. I'm not a scammer. So Hobby Evolution on Facebook. So Seller Hub. Somebody asked about, they went over their 60,000 for premium store. So there's an easy way to try to spit it out, Bo, to track this. Go to your Seller Hub, and somebody had asked, where do you find, because toward the bottom under promotional offers, it shows you. So it's May 1st, so you have a fresh clock, and I forgot to look. But if you're close to 60,000, be aware of how many you have ending today. So I have 1,600 ending today. So that's going to be 1,000. So today, tomorrow, that's going to be 1,680 new listings, because those as if they don't sell and they list again, that counts toward your listings. Also, when you end and relist, that counts. So, and usually when people are doing this, they're doing it like today, or if you have items ending today, you're ending today. It was gonna end regardless. But if it's 2 weeks in and I'm gonna end relist, just be cognizant that 2 weeks ago you're gonna double up on your new listings because you did it 2 weeks ago and you did it again today. So in your Seller Hub, go all the way to the bottom. I think it's the very bottom, and it says promotional offers. So right now it's May 1st, so you're probably at all zeros, and then tomorrow it'll have today's listing. So right now I'm at all zeros. And yesterday I think I took a screenshot, and I think I still had like 8,000 listings. Now it doesn't matter. Like, I have how many listings? 52,000, I think, active listings. What's my active listings count? So this is there's some confusion sometimes on how many listings and what you get. So right now I have 52,294 active listings, but beware, first off, that if you are on a recycling listings, like those old listings, you may not think it's a new listing, but eBay says it's a new listing because when the 30-day cycle is up, if it didn't sell and it relists, that's a new listing. So that goes against your count for the month. So that's number one. Number two, what was number two? Number two, relist or ending and relisting, that counts. That also counts. So be aware when you're ending and relisting. And then you can always track these on your seller hub at the bottom under promotional offers, and it'll show. So if you have a premium store, you get 500 auctions. You get 10,000 premium store subscription listings, and then you get free 50,000 additional listings in certain categories, which sports cards falls into that category. So eBay will use those 50,000 and then your premium store, and then of course auctions. So May 1st starts with a new clock, so you can check that out. Your seller hub, scroll to the bottom of your seller hub, and that's where you can track, so you know if you're getting close to your number of listings in the month. All righty, let's go back into the chat. Red Light says, get your weed eater out and cut the damn grass. I thought I was going to have to finish with the damn weed eater. That's how thick it was. Kyle says, good morning. Got here ASAP. Did I miss the shower beer part of the show? I think you caught it. We talked shower beer. And I'm a little disappointed in some of the audience on Twitter not understanding the importance and the relevance of a shower beer. Johnny M., what's up? I hate to pay someone to do what I can do myself. I opened the pool yesterday. Takes me longer than it takes them, but I saved $400. That's a lot of low-end sales. I get it. So this, going back to mowing the lawn, as I'm like just cussing and sweating and being pissed off at how long this goddamn steroid grass is, I finished up, and you know what I did? I went online shopping to price out riding lawnmowers because I still have my push mower and it's fine. And I'm like, when I saw the prices on riding lawnmowers, especially John Deere, Jesus, which I knew those were going to be a lot more expensive. I'm like, okay, I'll just suck it up. If I only have to do this once or twice and the rest of the year is just an average mow with my pusher, I'll be okay. Maybe I'll find maybe I'll find a used one. But I priced it out. So my wife and I had a conversation last night, and I said I was so pissed I was pricing out lawnmowers on riding lawnmowers. And she's like, I've requested an annual contract. I'm like, well, let's like, it's like, well, it takes you all day to mow. And I'm like, I understand. However, it only took me all day today. Now, usually it takes a couple hours to do everything. But a couple hours a week or every 2 weeks is okay. And she's like, but with the riding lawnmower, you're still going to have to do it. I'm like, well, it's going to be faster. It's not going to take as long. And days like this, I can power through it. But with the push mower, like, and she's like, well, you're still going to have to bag. I'm like, yes, but I won't have to stop and unclog the damn push mower every sweep. So we had that conversation. So I'm like, price it out. And if you're up for paying, let's just get a riding lawnmower instead. So James, raise the mower deck, cut twice. Sal Dougie, what's up? Good morning. Steve says, wait, you mowed yesterday and didn't tweet any shoe pictures. They're really green now with how long and wet the grass was yesterday. The white shoes are now green. Paul, what's going on? Good morning. I watched your video. Paul did a video of, it was your live stream from the other night. I watched that last night as I post shower beer, did some shipping last night. Lewis says, shower beers are awesome. Thank you. James says, trust me, having a shower beer is not alcoholic. Thank you. I knew my Hobby Evolution crew would be on board with the shower beers. Some of those Twitter guys, well, come on. Come on, Twitter. Shane says, George and Dan, are you guys paying attention? Teach your kids about post-mo shower beers. See? I don't think George and Dan have kids. Actually, I know they don't have kids. Mark says, good morning. Nice comeback by my team last night, says Mark. Mark, the Mets fan, got the win. I'm at that age where we got a guy who does our yard work and a pool guy. Yeah, I'm not there yet. I'm just not there yet. Like most of our neighborhood, like I can probably count on one hand how many of my neighbors mow their own lawns. There's quite a few like older, like some retired, and it's a mix. Our neighborhood's a mix, but one company does, and it's not the company we use for like our landscaping stuff, but they mow each of my neighbors and then like 2 houses across the street. So they just come in and they can zip around and do like 4 lawns in. So they're zipping around, they're mowing this neighbor and that neighbor. So if I didn't mow yesterday, we would have looked like the burbs, man. We would have looked like the shitty neighbors on the block because we had the lawn. But I got it done, baby. 13 bags. Paul says, if you don't wake up and pound a few shower beers every morning, are you even really self-employed? Speaking, so when I worked at, I'm going to try not to give out too much information. I'll work when I worked at the university and I traveled. And I don't know if we roomed one time. I don't think we roomed one time. Maybe we did. Maybe we might have grouped in. I don't know. But one of the guys in our travel party, you know, you get when you're traveling on the road, you know, you usually have beers in the hotel room, right? So one of the guys in our travel party would not waste beer. And I'm talking like this might be alcoholic. If I have 3 or 4 beers in the fridge at the hotel, the maids get them. Like I'm not taking those with. Unless I'm driving and then I'm going to take these. But I'm certainly not going to pound them in the morning. But I did have one co-worker, I guess, in our travel party. And if there were 2 beers, 3 beers, he would chug them in the morning to not let them go to waste. Or because he's an alcoholic. Maybe both. But I'm like, dude, and one of the other guys that we traveled with was on my page, like, dude, no, like just leave them. And yeah, I'm like, wow, that's a problem. I think that's a problem. I understand not wanting to waste, but it's not really wasting. I mean, I don't know. Can the maids do they have like, I wonder, like, do they have like a swear jar, but it's like a beer jar, beer fridge, like all the leftover, like unopened alcohol they put, and then once they get enough, they have a party with all of our leftover beers. Brian says, never had a beer after a mow. I stick to chocolate milk. Just kidding. I drink vodka. Man, there's nothing like a halftime mow in a post. And the post mow shower beer is even better if you don't have a halftime beer. See, if I had a riding lawnmower, I might just get one with a cup holder and just have a. If I stay, is that drinking and driving? If I stay in my own yard mowing. Philly Joe, never heard of a shower beer. Is this a Midwest thing? I just assumed it was a national thing. I just thought everybody did shower beers. I don't know. Philly Joe wants to know, is it a Midwest thing? I've only lived in the Midwest, so maybe it is. James knows a shower beer. He's in the Midwest. Who else? Was it Lewis? Lewis says shower beers are awesome. Lewis, where are you at? Now I'm curious. Now, so I need the chat to chime in. If you've heard of a shower beer. I guess if you have or haven't, that's important too. But where you're from, or where, I'm curious. Now I'm curious. Philly Joe hasn't heard of shower beer, and now maybe it is a regional thing. It's probably a small town, like shower beer. Like it became I don't know. Todd says that's quite the visual. Didn't have artificial insemination on my Hobby Evolution bingo card. Yeah, you never know. I'll never forget. Some things you never forget, and I'll never forget Greg Kipp, who was a farmer, had a daughter. The farmer's daughter had a daughter that was a year older than me in school, and we had a field trip out to their farm in ag class, and you never forget the first time you see somebody's arm going into a cow, like elbow deep, to artificially inseminate a cow. You never forget the first time. Max says, I think you're looking at the generation ahead of you, not behind. Shower beers at 7 to 8 a.m. on game day? Absolutely. Any other time or as an adult? More enjoyable outside of it, admiring your work. See, I'm not like shower beers at 7 a.m. on game day. No, can do it. Can do it. Shower beers after a mow? Absolutely. Does that mean I'm old? Does that mean, because Max is younger than me. So if Max is like, yeah, shower beers at 7 a.m., let's do it. Not me. I'm past that stage in my life. In my 20s, absolutely. In my 20s, shower beers at 7 a.m., shower beers at 7 p.m. But today, in my 40s, shower beers only occur after I mow. But to not hear of one, get cultured, Max says. Get cultured. Just George says, here it would be after sweeping the dirt yard. They don't believe in grass here. See, I couldn't, like, when I go out to Arizona, like, I have to have green. Like, I love the trees and the green grass. However, there's a, like, the Pacific Northwest, beautiful, wouldn't want to live there either. Too much rain, which is why it's so green, I guess. Orlando's in the house. Good morning. AA Cards, what's happening? Good morning. Team Kansas Cards, he's on board with the Michael Jordan cologne. Like Michael Jordan cologne will take me back to 7th grade, East Bay catalogs, UMass jersey, junior high school basketball, Michael Jordan cologne. Cooter, what's up? Good morning. Listening to your shower habits is not how I was expecting to start the day, but that can be said about every morning. Yeah, that's true. You never know. You just never know. Shane says, still sounds like a shower beer is needed after. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I do not have a battery operated. I have a gas mower. It's just a little guy. Doesn't get through the tall grass very well. I kind of would like now I think that's also like I kind of prefer battery operated more. As long as the battery will go through, like, last. Because gas, you got to go to the gas station. You got to fill up your little gas tank. It stinks up the car. I always spill on my hands. Now my hands smell like gasoline. Mark says, we do have a small garden in the backyard. Nothing like fresh vegetables. Absolutely. I'm so looking forward to it. I have a little, I think it's about the square footage wise. I think my gardens, I have 4 garden beds, raised garden beds. I think it's the same. I had 2 raised garden beds at the old house, but square footage wise, I think I have the same, but it'll allow me to separate better. So they're not like infiltrating each other. I think I have 4 square boxes. I think I have 4 by, are they 4x4s? Yeah, because they're squares. They're 4x4, 4x4s. I think the old house I had 2 4x8s. Paul says, too much mushroom coffee and you'll start chatting with the interdimensional elves. Might be fun every once in a while, like a shower beer. Kyle says, it's not the feeder, it's the seed. Okay. Hit Farm and Fleet for their bird seed. We often have 6 different species in the yard eating it. I will have to do that. Okay. Yeah, because I assume cracked corn is not going to bring in like the fancy birds. It's going to bring in the blackbirds and the robins, and that's it. So I'll have to get a mix. And they eat a lot, man. I'm almost through that giant bag of cracked corn already. Johnny Boy Cards, good morning. Brian says 3 1-of-1s by one seller sounds like an issue. So we're going to get into this. It's not an issue. And I'm going to tell you why. Let's get through the chat. We're still behind. We are 20 minutes behind, 23 minutes behind. So we're going to get, Brian is talking about Topps Heritage Mini. Today's kind of the release day. Kind of. DPM Sports Cards, what's going on? Good morning. John Keating in the house. I, too, am also a little higher than usual. Wrench in the house. John Keating. Dan says, throw out the mushroom coffee. No. Victor says it's really good. Carrie, what's up? Minis are not really for sale yet. Went to the Fanatic site and you are entered into a drop and may or may not get any product. Interesting. I did not know that. That is very interesting. That is very, very interesting. Lewis, in all caps, says buy a used rider. I think that's probably the good plan. Shane says, I know someone who bought a riding mower and then now mows a couple lawns a week to pay it off. See, I'm not that ambitious when it comes to mowing the lawn. I'll do my own, but I'm not doing anybody else's. There's so many freaking and kid, like there's so many like high school kids doing it. You go to Nextdoor if you have the Nextdoor app, and there's like 17 different people. I'll mow your yard, my son. Not gonna do that. Do you even adult, bro? Shane says so. Eventually, it will be free if it isn't already. JW says, I have the basic store subscription, and a while back they removed my selling limit and said, now I can list as much as I want. Did this happen to anyone else? I think I did hear somebody else say that. Mine was what? So my account, and the selling limits are, I don't understand the selling limits or like what the formula is from eBay. Here's my, this is going to be a long-winded story like we usually do here. And then we'll talk about Topps Heritage Minis. I promise. So my first eBay account was back in like July, I think April or July of 1999. I think April of 99 was my very first eBay account. And I had that account for a few years, and then college and, my early 20s, too many shower beers all got in the way. And so I back then, I think they just like erased your, like they discontinued your account if it wasn't active for like a year or something. I can't remember. But so I started another account. And so this is probably like 2004. So between 1999, 2000 and 2004, I had gone off to college and I had incurred a lot of credit card debt. That's the American dream. Young and stupid, incurring credit card debt. And I incurred it in like short order too, because I remember not having a credit card. And when I was working the morning show, thanks to my co-host Chris, I was shopping for a TV. Now this is pre like flat screens. This is almost 25 years ago. Not, I guess 20 years ago. And I'm like, I've got to wait like 2 months before I can buy a TV because I need the cat. I'm working in small market radio. I make no money. So I remember him saying, don't you have a credit card? I'm like, no, because, and I knew myself, I'm like, I don't want credit card debt. And he's like, well, just pay it off. Oh, easier said than done to a dumbass 21, 22-year-old, 21, 22. So I didn't have my first credit card until I was probably 22. And then the next year or two, the debt piled up quickly. So 2005, what year was it? Oh, it was probably 2005, 2006. So that's when I created a new eBay account so I could start selling shit and pay off my credit card debt. And then that one went away because then I got into broadcasting, working at the university and all that. So I started another account in, I don't know, 2011 or 12. And I had an issue. And so I know exactly when it was in the summer of 2014. And I was selling these promo CDs that I had dug out of the trash can at the radio station is when we moved, when we sold our station. And I had sold like a whole bunch of them to a buyer. And the jewel cases, which were crap anyway, which were garbage, were like cracked in transit. So this buyer, and he bought like 14 different CDs, and I shipped them. And I probably should have shipped them safer. And they got the CDs were fine. The jewel case, some of the jewel cases got damaged. And they were like, you could go out and buy brand new jewel cases and they would have looked so much better. You just transfer all the paperwork that's inside them. Well, this asshole on eBay says, I want a partial refund. And I'm like, well, send them back and I'll give you a full refund. He's like, well, no, I want. So the ones he wanted to keep were all the good ones, the ones that were worth more money. And he sent the shitty ones back. And I'm like, so I don't know how this all played out, but he ends up giving me a negative feedback on each of the transactions. And because it wasn't, and things have changed, like on the back end sales wise as a seller, it's so much different now than even 10 years ago. Whatever happened, like negative feedback now does not affect your scores. And I think it may have back then. If you had so many negatives, they would, suspend you or whatever. So basically this whole shenanigans, and I was on the phone with eBay multiple times over this, and they would not side with me, which was giant. It was a giant headache, pain in the ass. So basically my account was limited to like 10 sales per month or something. This is back in 2014, 2015, somewhere in there. And so I'm on the phone and I'm like, but if you started a new account, you got like 5 listings per month or something. It was something stupid, like something like, this isn't even worth my time. So I called eBay and I'm like, and this is back when you could easily, it's becoming easier, I think, to talk to an agent on the phone than it was a few years ago. But I talked to an agent and I said, well, can I just open, and you could open up to 6 accounts under the same like PayPal address. I'm like, so I can open 6 different accounts and get 30 listings per month as opposed to my 5 or 10 under this one account. They're like, yeah. And I'm like, but you won't increase my selling limits on one account to 30. No, we can't do that. But you can allow me to sell 30 items per month, just under 6 different accounts. Yes, that makes no sense. That's how it was 10 years ago. So then selling limits. So that I had, the account I'm under now is one of the 6 that I had back in 2015, I think. And stuck with this one, and then they gradually increased, and you'd have to call every month to increase your limits. Now you can just do it all online. I don't think you can do it over the phone anymore. And then eventually it increased, my selling limits increased to 2 billion items per month or $2 billion in sales. And I'm like, damn, I'd be doing something right if I could hit those numbers. And then one day I just looked, somebody mentioned, they're like, I don't have any selling limits. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's probably just a crazy number. And I'm like, I'll look. And I looked at mine. And I'm like, oh, I don't have any selling limits anymore. So at some point, eBay just says you don't have any selling limits anymore. I don't know at what point that is, but at some point they do. Cooter says riding mowers require periodic oil changes. Oh, fuck. I can't do that. I can't change my own oil. Or what if I learn to change my own lawnmower? Does that make me a man? Maybe one could be a gateway to manhood. I like it. Unicorn Cupcake says, is riding on the lawnmower a sport? It is an analog. They have lawnmower. What the hell are they called? Like they have golf cart and lawnmower, bar crawls, and that's certainly a small town thing. Shane says that's interesting. Landon Duke, what's going on? You change the oil on your mower. I don't change it. I just put new oil in. It's probably not what you're supposed to do. Good morning, Stuke. Move to a townhome. No more mowing. Max says, Unicorn, there are lawn tractor races in the state, so if NASCAR is, then yup. Yeah, definitely. Shane wants to know if George and Dan are teachers. Zazaboo, what's up? The Klopex. Great movie. Been a long time since I've had a shower beer. Going to have one soon. There you go. There you go. I just influenced you. Brian, good morning. Okay, there you go. Bubblegum Hall of Fame. Shower beer, morning beer, afternoon beer, dinner beer, bedtime beer, wake up to pee beer. There you go. Self-employment joys beers. Brian says, we're talking beer. Finally, a topic I can contribute to. We're talking shower beers. Max says, if I'm drinking it all at night, there's nothing I'd want less than to chug a beer in the morning. Must only drink a couple at night. Not worth it. See, I don't. Oh, yeah. I think this is in regards to the hotel story. Yeah. Shane says a shower chocolate milk. Now I could do a shower chocolate milk in the morning. Lewis says you need to do a mower beer on the right. I know. I don't have to stop and sit down and have a beer. I could just do it. Well, it's multitasking. That's what it is. Because when I do the push mower, I have to stop what I'm doing to have my halftime beer. There is no halftime when you have a riding lawnmower. I can multitask, drink the beer, and mow at the same time. Brian says shower beer is a college thing. Brian also in the Midwest, but he says I don't think it's Midwest specific. Duke says the South does shower beers. I knew the South did shower beers. So we've got the Midwest and the South. Lewis is in Indiana. So Illinois, Indiana, Wisconsin, the South. Brian has never had or heard of a shower beer. Maybe it is just a Southern and Midwest thing. Brian said, oh, so we got that. The other Brian says there's a subreddit, shower beer. It's worldwide. Oh, shit. I've got to find shower beer Reddit. I have become, I really like the Reddit. I had a coworker that was always on Reddit, and I'm like, I tried it, and I'm like, I just don't get it. But now I get it, and I love Reddit, especially local stuff. Shower beer. How come is it a community? Oh, after shower beer. No, it's got to be the before and during shower beer. Okay. I'll find it later. T206 kid grew up in New Jersey and Louisville for 10 years. Never did or heard of a shower beer. Interesting. Okay. So we've got a couple on the East Coast, never heard of a shower beer. I'm surprised you never heard of it in Louisville. Louisville seems like a shower beer type of city. Cooter says, as my dad would tell me, it's not the drinking that gets you in trouble. It's when you find out the best cure for a hangover is to keep drinking. Yes. Yes. So in my case, when I have a hangover, it's like the last thing I want to do is to drink more. And so when I have a hangover, it's like, I don't want to drink anymore because I don't want to feel like this again tomorrow. Johnny M, 64 years old and never heard of it in New York. Okay, so maybe it's just not an East Coast thing. So we've got New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, all check it in. Never heard of a shower beer. John, I've had a shower beer under very bizarre circumstances. Did it involve a stage and Van Halen playing and women may or may not have their clothes on? Or maybe talk dirty to me. John's in the shower on stage at From the Midwest, North Dakota, Minnesota. Never heard of the shower beer. What? Now, I know the shower beer is a thing in Minnesota. I know Minnesota's doing shower beers. Andy Mack, Midwest for life, zero shower beers. But I think that's a Southern Illinois, Wisconsin alcoholic thing. No, it's not an alcoholic thing. I'm shocked by this because I can tell you that Northern Illinois was doing shower beers. Brian says, drinking a beer while insemination of the herd. That's Midwest. Oh, yeah. John says, and I swear you were about to say you never forget the first time you see an arm go into a combine. That happens too. Let's see. Cooter says, John, did you share your shower beer with Little Rock Connie? Yes. Do real men of Wisconsin drink beer in the shower? Oh, you damn right. It doesn't, yeah. Oil change, you can be a man and not change your own oil. But a real man drinks a shower beer. George says, beer drinking knows no age. I still get up and pop a top at 7 or 8 a.m. on special days, like the Christmas party. It's been a while since I've cracked a beer at 8 a.m. or before noon, I should say. Actually, no. Oh, there's my little duck friend, Howard the duck, hanging out in my backyard. Where are you going? I guess before noon, no, because I just cracked a beer open before noon about 6 weeks ago at spring training. 8 a.m. too early. 11 a.m. at spring training, absolutely. Let's see. Johnny M says, we just called it drinking. Didn't matter where you did it. Oh, shower beer's a thing. Red Light 34, next time, go to rent to own, use it, and then take it back. Let's see. Stuke says that was the city kid that came to visit the farm. Next test for them was peeing on the electric fence. See? Yep. That's a thing too. Go pee on that fence. Nope. You only have to learn once to never do it again. Andy Mack says, as a fellow non-oil changer, it's time to switch to batteries. That's, yeah. It's either riding lawnmower or switch to battery. Actually, no, I can't switch to battery because that, I don't know. It's got to be like a good battery. Paul says, I'm really hoping my garden works out this year. Otherwise, I'll be on year 3 of complete failure. That sucks. See, I just got lucky with my gardening. It just, the first time I'm watching the ducks. The first time I tried to garden back in Illinois, but the problem was I'd never watered it. And that's just not the key to success when you're gardening. But when I moved up here, and the first house my wife and I lived in had a small raised garden bed in the back, and I tried it. I was really good. And now I go to the nursery, the greenhouse, the nursery, and I'm like, what do I need? And of course, they're like, you need this, and you need this, and you need this, and you need this. I don't think you really do. Get some good soil. They say don't use Miracle Grow, although I've had a lot of success using the Miracle Grow soil. Now the nursery is going to say, oh, don't use that. And then they'll tell you why. And then they'll sell you the stuff they make, which I will tell you, the stuff that you get at a nursery is supposed to be a lot better. But I've had about the same success with Miracle Grow or with nursery stuff. Brian has an Ego mower, battery powered. It's fantastic. I'll let you try before you buy. MJ cologne was the first and only cologne I ever wore. I had MJ and Tommy Hilfiger. Those were my go-tos in junior high and high school. Shane says, so I have 2 raised garden beds as well. How do you keep squirrels out and from digging holes to bury their damn nuts? Okay. I'm going to answer this. I don't know. I tried putting chili powder in the garden, but that didn't work. So I have not gardened at this location. There's a lot more wildlife as I'm watching ducks wander and waddle in my backyard. There's a lot more wildlife here. We have bunnies. We have squirrels. We have all sorts of birds, geese. So I don't know. You're gonna learn with me this summer as we gardening with Bo. So I don't know. My old house, we started to get, once we put like a flower bed in the backyard, then we had bunnies. They really didn't touch the vegetable gardens, but they loved the flower gardens. And I didn't have an issue with squirrels. I did, though, have a big issue with chipmunks, man. Chipmunks, we had rock walls in our front and back, and then Frank had a rock wall in the back, and they just, they tear the shit out of those rock walls. And so what worked for me, and I don't think this is going to work. This might work for squirrels. I don't know. Google it. What worked to keep the chipmunks away? Put cloves of garlic in their holes. Find holes and just put cloves of garlic. It might take a couple times, but eventually it kind of just, because and I don't like to kill the rodents. Frank did. Frank killed them, and then they crawl and die on my sidewalk. God damn it, Frank. So I like to do non-harmful ways to eradicate the pesty rodents. So cloves of garlic in the chipmunk holes really worked well. Squirrels, I haven't battled squirrels yet, but I do have squirrels here, so we'll see. I have bunnies, we'll see. Value box digger, 3 1-of-1s by one seller wouldn't surprise me. Example, Brent and Becca break 40 cases of each product. So we're going to talk about Heritage Mini. So on the surface, it looks like, in reality, it looks really like shady, but there's more to the story. Grackles don't like safflower seed. You can get that at Farm and Fleet pretty inexpensively. What's a grackle? Is that a bird? Grackle. Bo's already known as the guy that sits in his basement with baseball cards. We don't need him door knocking for summer lawn jobs. That's a very good point. My John Deere rider had a snowblower attachment for winter. Ooh. See, now I need to get my wife on board. Last year, she's like, well, we can have Olsen Toon mow next year. And I'm like, how about I still mow and we call Olsen Toon to do the snow removal? And she's like, no, you can snow blow. And I'm like, what? No, I would much rather fucking mow the lawn than fucking snow blow. Andy Mack says, my selling limit is 2 billion. Yes, that's what mine was. And then the next step is they just take away your limit. You have no limits. So you are almost there. Shane says, just think, a 40-year-old man coming up to your door. Can I mow your lawn so I can buy more Cubs baseball cards? Yes. Max says, then you found God. Dave Ramsey. Bum. Cash is king. JD can be a pain with the pins in wet snow, and we seem to always have wet snow. My parents were Ramsey people. I've never had a credit card or credit score. Wow. Max says it is. However, his advice would have people homeless and without a car till 35 or 40. Stuke has extra pins. He would break his foot kicking the thing before figuring out the pin. Yes, I would. Raise your hand if you've heard the dumpster diving CD story 3 times now. See, 1,170 episodes. Have I told you about the Michael Jackson CD that I found in there? Sell your Tyler Black cards. 2 for $4 in his debut. I saw that. I saw one of his hits. Did he hit a home run or just maybe got a hit in his first at bat? And I'm like, ooh, I probably have some Tyler Black cards I need to get. I bet I have some autos. I bet I have some Tyler Black autos. Mark says, good morning. Dealing with eBay all night morning. My sold items aren't listed as sold, and my software is adding listings. Fun times. What type of software are you using? I think you posted this in the Facebook group. I know you're not using Car Dealer Pro. I'm curious what you are using. If it's Chronazio or something different. The Burbs is an amazing movie. That's the reference. It's been a while since I've seen it, so I didn't get the reference. In Minnesota, you can be arrested for DWI on a riding lawnmower. Yes. Now, you can't get arrested for DWI mowing your yard, but you can if you're out on the streets. Yes. You can get a DWI for golf carts, lawnmowers. Illinois, Wisconsin. Wisconsin's pretty lax on their laws, but Illinois certainly. Same in Iowa for Shane. Anything with a motor. Yep. Even a bicycle. I know that there were somebody in Macomb got a DWI for on a bicycle. No motor, just a bicycle. Let's see. Even keys in the ignition and not running. Lots of not safe for work images on shower beer. Oh, maybe I don't. Maybe I don't want to look at shower beers. SoCal guy says no shower beers in California. I am too, Shane. All of these people, and they're missing out on the shower beer. It's just, if you're sweating your ass off, you're dirty from mowing the yard or maybe changing your own oil. You're tired, you're sore, you take a shower, you're getting clean, you're drinking a beer. It just tastes different. Now, if you don't drink beer, I get it. That's okay. But if you do drink a beer, try the shower beer. Now, I'm not saying wake up, brush your teeth, and drink a beer. I'm talking about after work, after the lawn is mowed, whatever. Cooter says, no shower beers here. What? I know a lot of people in Minnesota, no one talks about shower beers unless it's a keg exploding. I want you to go out, ask 10 random people, and I bet more people will say they've heard of a shower beer or had a shower beer. I'm disappointed. Ginter getting a shower beer card. It's a thing. JW, thank you. Michigan enjoys their shower beers. Brian would collect the absolute fuck out of that card. Yeah. Brian says, I had a bedtime White Claw last night. Max says, maybe it's a college. It probably is more of a college thing. You people that said no, did you go to college? That's a good point. Like, that's when I learned about shower beers. But shower beers, and I mentioned this earlier, like when I learned about shower beers, it was a 7 p.m. shower before you head to the bars. It's like your pregame. Like, hey, I'm going to a party or I'm going to the bar. I'm going to take a shower, get all smelly, nicey, and have a shower beer. JW says, as long as you know how to change her oil, that's all that matters. And I mean college, not community college. No, I didn't learn about shower beer. I probably didn't know about shower beers at community college. I didn't learn about shower beers until I was in Macomb. I wasn't in college, but I was in a college town. Shane says, why not hire Howard to ship since he is there all the time? Yeah, Howard, get back here. I'll give you some cracked corn. See, I'll crack corn, Howard. Brian says, wife and I had some carbless while watching the Brewers. BB guns help. It's not pronounced Miracle Grow. Yes, it is. And stop banging your prop mic. I assume you have it sitting on your desk without padding under the base. You damn right I do. Damn right I do. George says, all I have to do, bury my nuts, is sit on the toilet. Don't need a raised bed. There you go. Never mind. You're just popping your peas by a windscreen. Yeah. I'm not in radio anymore. I don't need to. I'll pop my peas. Squirrels plant garlic around the border. There you go. Okay, so squirrels, it does work with garlic. Does work with squirrels also. Or put bird feeders further away, and they will migrate that way. Yeah. So my bird feeders are at the backyard. My raised garden beds are right over here. So I'm glad that garlic works for squirrels also. We don't have chipmunks here though, which is good. Try peppermint oil spray for pest control. A lot of peas there. It's worked pretty well for us. I had a couple foxes that took care of the moles in my yard, dug up the yard a little, but not like the moles. You need to move to Florida. Do they have shower beers in Florida? We don't deal with snow. Also, not having a credit card or credit score isn't something to brag about. I've made $50K plus using credit card rewards. That is true. You do need a credit score to buy stuff. Big stuff. Brian says, move to Florida if you're a single conservative male who hates women's rights, children reading books, or believes slavery was good. Shane says you can absolutely get a DUI mowing your lawn. I don't think so, Shane. Duke says we save up money for any needs, not a very frivolous lifestyle. Brian says, I live here. It's stunning how it's turned. Max says you can get a DUI on a fucking bicycle if you're on public property. Nobody with a brain is leaving their property with a beer in their hand driving a vehicle. Duke says we are trying to buy a house this summer, and it's a longer process when they can't check a credit score, but we are still able to do it. Yeah, I can't imagine how what the process would be. Remember those Steve videos where he keeps getting pulled over on a lawnmower drunk? I do not remember those. It just tastes different. You might want to check your shower beer for 2 types of suds. Oh, maybe it's the soap that tastes different. I'm sure money talks at most banks, credit unions. Joe says, never heard of a shower beer in Ohio, originally from Philly. Shower beer is a no-go. Oh. You don't know what you're missing. Try not to hit any hard peas. Shane says, do I have to plant garlic or can I put cloves around the border? No, you don't have to plant garlic. You just go to the store and buy a head of garlic. What do you call a head of garlic? A head, probably. And then just break up cloves and put them around. That should work. No, I've never planted garlic. I just buy them and throw them around. I've heard squirrels don't care for spicy food. Capsaicin. Is that what he tried? I thought Shane mentioned he tried something. The only positive thing about Florida is no income taxes. Other than that, bath salts in Miami is enough to stay away. Capsaicin gives hot chili peppers their spiciness, disliked by mammals like squirrels. Let's talk Topps Heritage Mini. Orlando says, enjoying another beautiful day in South Florida. Let's talk Topps Heritage Mini. Unicorn Cupcake says, you should require the Sheraton to put a beer in the shower for those staying overnight at the card show. So Topps Heritage Mini, amazing idea. Just like 1975. It's a separate release, just like 1975. When I first saw Topps tease it, I think a week ago or a few days ago, I'm like, oh, this is brilliant. This is a great idea. However, the launch is like, what? So I have a search. I don't have a search set up, but I just manually search Cubs 1 of 1 every once in a while, usually every day. Sometimes first thing in the morning, sometimes before I go to bed, sometimes in the middle of the day. I'll just search Cubs 1 of 1, newly listed, see what pops up. Yesterday, it was in the middle of the day. And I type in Cubs 1 of 1 and an Ian Happ pink border mini 1 of 1. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, this isn't even supposed to be released until tomorrow. Now, I understand products get released days early. I've had the fortune of getting a product a few days early, and it's great. However, we didn't know how this was really. Is it like it's not on blowout? It's not, is it being sold? Like we don't know where it's being sold, how it's being sold, but yet it's already in the wild. Okay. So I was a little confused. I'm laying in bed last night. I do another Cubs 1 of 1 search and boom, another one pops up. Say a Suzuki. Like, what the hell? So now I type in Topps Heritage Mini and like 1,000 listings show up. Now, an hour before this, I just want to let you know how disappointed I am that so few people know what a shower beer is. All right, so here we go. Oh, did they edit the tweet? The tweet has been edited, I believe. It absolutely has been edited. Oh, sneaky. All right. So last night, the tweet said online exclusive releasing tomorrow. Now the wording is different. So this was what Topps tweeted out 11 hours. However, this is not the original tweet. The original tweet said online exclusive releasing tomorrow. Did I wonder if I took a snapshot. No, I only took a photo of the one of ones. So the original tweet said online exclusive releasing tomorrow at Topps.com. Now that wording has changed. It just says releasing tomorrow and da 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 da. So it's dropping on Topps.com 11 a.m. Central Time today, $50 per box. So I looked, there were one seller had 3 of the one of ones already, but the odds, like you get, like there's only how many? I think Brett and Becca actually broke it down. Let's go back to this screen. Let's see. I thought I retweeted. Let's see. I think I retweeted it. All right. So here's what Brent posted. This product is also being released as a hobby store exclusive, not just an online exclusive. I do blame Topps for the lack of information earlier on and not giving the whole picture. There were many shops pre-selling this and posting about it coming, but Topps should have been. Yeah. And I did not see anywhere where any shops or any, but you know, I'm living on Twitter and that's it. So, and if I'm not following the right accounts, I did not know, but yeah, there's a lot of, there were, I think 4 pink border one of ones listed on eBay. 3 of the 4 were Cubs, the Ian Happ, Thea Suzuki, and then the Chris Bryant, Mike Trout MVP card. So, so there's nothing shady going on. And I hate, and I hate jumping to conclusions here. When I posted my tweet last night and I'm like, am I missing something? Because I had just seen the Topps tweet say online exclusive releasing tomorrow, yet there's 1,000 singles already listed on eBay. What's going on here? And so everybody thinks there's all this shady business, and it's really just poorly worded tweet from Topps, which, you know, gotta buck that. So I want to touch on Max's comment. Even more value extracted from the regular Heritage set. This is genius, though, because what Heritage is and should be, and what it has been, is a direct play on the original set that it's mimicking or whatever. So this is the 1975 set. What was also in 1975 Topps? Well, not in it, but it was a separate release, Topps Heritage or Topps Mini 1975, and it was a standalone product. So this is a great idea, well executed. $50 for a hobby box. This is completely different. This is its own product based on 1975. There's been like numbered out of 100 minis. But this is its own product based on 1975 Topps Mini. There has not been a Heritage Mini standalone product like this before, because there was not a 1967 Topps Mini. There's not a 1971 Topps Mini. However, there was a 1975 Topps Mini. You could buy a box of it. I have a friend who has a sealed box. Or it's not sealed, but it's unopened. So I think it's great. And here's another thing, but they didn't put minis in the regular release because the minis. So a lot of the Heritage collectors love this, and we're wanting this, and we're disappointed when Heritage came out and there were no minis in this format. Now there are, and I think at that price point, like $50 for a hobby box, and I'm not sure what the obviously the odds are pretty good based on what I've seen on eBay. 2024 Topps Heritage Mini. Now, what's the resale going to be like? I don't know, but I think at at $50. That's a monster box. Here it is. Product drop. Does it have the here? Let's oh, wrong one. Stop. Present. Here we go. So here's Fanatic. This is on fanatics.com. And somebody Carrie mentioned earlier that it's not for sale. It's just a drop. It's going to be on tops.com as well. So it looks like it's going to be on fanatics.com and tops.com at the same time, 11 o'clock this morning, Central Time. Details. So you get 10 cards per pack. How many packs per box? Is it 24 or 20? Even so, that's can't see. Look for rare autograph cards, 3 numbered parallels per box. This looks like a good deal. So let's just say it's, or actually there's 3 rows. So what might be 24 packs. So let's just say 240 cards, $50 divided by 240. You're looking at 20 cents per card. That's really cheap for today's breakdown. I mean, what was Top Series 1? It was around 30 cents, 35 cents per card in a box. So there you go. Releases at 11 a.m. this morning. Let's see. Max says, just saying we always talk about retail release pricing and argue about heritage pricing. This just went to further my point of it being way overpriced out of the gate. Philly Joe, thanks for the info. We'll look into heritage minis. I think, yeah. I mean, looking at it now, I'm like, gee, this is pretty good. And it's pretty limited. Like, this is going to sell. Like, you're going to have to be, somebody asked me, how can I get it? It might've been in Hobby Evolution Facebook group. Somebody asked, like, how do I get into a pre-sale before it gets sold out? Make sure you're logged into your Topps account. And like, if it says releasing at 11, usually it's a few minutes after, but make sure at 11 o'clock you are at your computer refreshing and trying different things, because this, I think, is limited. And now knowing that it was also sent out to hobby shops, and looking at all the one, like, it looks like there's a lot of boxes already been sold and are out in the wild. So I think the tops.com allotment is going to be pretty small. And I think this is going to sell out in minutes, especially at this price point. So if you want in, you better make sure you clear your day from 11 to 11:15 and make sure you're logged into your Topps account and keep hitting refresh, because I think it's going to sell out super fast, within minutes fast. Max says, has Fanatics gotten anything right since they started to become omnipresent in sports? They've gotten a lot of things right. It's just everybody bitches. The hobby, the baseball cards is nothing but bitching. People on Twitter, nothing but bitching. They're going to bitch about, oh, it's such a crappy, if it wasn't like, oh, this is just a money grab for minis. You're going to bitch about that. But it's a great price point. Well, but that just shows you how expensive and overpriced heritage was. If it wasn't that, well, we're gonna find something to bitch about. That's what collectors do. They just want to find something to bitch about. There's a lot of good things. All the good things just get glossed over because we have to bitch about everything. Shane says, I like how it says, look for autographed mini cards. No, see, so you're not going to get an autograph in every box. Which is okay. Like, Brian just entered the drop for fun. Let's see what happens. The pants. Never knew you were a Ruben disciple. I'm nobody's disciple, but you want to call me a Topps bootlicker or whatever? Somebody called me a Topps bootlicker about a year ago or so. I'll lick their boots. I think they're doing a lot of great things. I think Michael Rubin, since taking over Fanatics, is doing a phenomenal job, a much better job than the previous regime at Topps. I think Fanatics is doing great things with cards and everything in the hobby. Now, does everybody agree with that? Certainly not. because most people want to bitch about cards, and most people in the hobby just want a $100 item for $10 and a $100 hobby box for $10 and all that. People just want to bitch. Fine. Let's see. I was just saying it's ironic that they are letting you the autos on mini cards when it's a product of mini cards. The hobby is like politics, government. We bitch. Nothing changes. We accept it and continue. Yeah, that's how it is. Yes, I absolutely 100% net positive to cards and the hobby. 100% without question. Fanatics taking over Topps has been a huge positive to the hobby. 100%. Oh, it's only 12 packs, says Carrie. Oh, shit. Okay, so we're back for, okay. I was thinking 20 cents per card. That's half of what Topps Series 1. Okay, so we're at 40 cents per card. So still a good deal. Still a good deal. Less of a deal than I thought, but still a good deal. 12. That's 120 cards for $50 and 3 parallels. That's a good deal. Scott says, in 1975, I had just moved to California from North Dakota. I was shocked when I went to the store and Topps cards were smaller here. Turns out Sacramento was a test market for just the mini cards. That's pretty cool. How about that? That is super cool. That is super cool. All right, so that's what I had for today. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, visit my eBay store, more shipping today. Maybe some listing, but I don't have to mow. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Bradley in here, he says, little pressure on Fanatics to succeed as Panini has been really awful the past few years. All righty, so that's all for today. Have a great Wednesday. Make sure your trash is at the curb. Shane, I think your trash day is today. Get that trash out. It is Wednesday. We'll do it all again tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Central. See you there.